Jamaal Williams is getting some love. I love to see it. And the guy just wants to play football and watch Pokemon. And I just think that's hilarious, man. Sorry. I don't know if any of you saw that quote afterward where they were talking about if they think Green Bay's taking him lightly, how he feels about it. And he's like, I don't care. He was saying he was trying not to curse. Anyways, that's not what this video is about. This video is about our man on the ground, Jamaal Williams, the leading rusher for the Detroit Lions this year, getting some love, some individual accolades, possibly. He was nominated. Let's go ahead and share this with all of you. He was nominated for the FedEx Ground Player of the Week. There he is, our man Jamaal Williams, after 144 rush yards and a touchdown. And it's just something that you just love to see. So I'm voting for him. Austin Eckler, maybe he deserves it. He had a phenomenal game, by the way. Really nice to have him on my fantasy team. And Christian McCaffrey had all three of those guys, by the way, on my fantasy team. But that doesn't matter. You're not here for that. Should we vote on the air player? It's definitely, I hate to say it, it's Tom Brady. They clinched the division. So weird, by the way, right? To have Sam Darnold and Tom Brady on the same one. I mean, Sam Darnold, air player of the week, you lost. Anyways, we're voting for this. And we got this. You saw it here, ladies and gentlemen. You saw me vote for our man, Jamaal Williams, for the FedEx Ground Player of the Week. But let's talk about what got him here and why he's special to this team and the difference that he makes for this team. And I think so often we neglect to remember how important a good running attack is. And the Lions this week had that good running attack. And I want to give a video where I just give Williams some love. He has been the consistent. I think most of us fell in love with him. I'll get to these in a second. I think most of us fell in love with Jamaal Williams during Hard Knocks, didn't we? With that emotional speech that he gave, that he was talking about the record. He was talking about how it's not good enough. He was talking about how he loves this game, how he loves his teammates, and they were with him. We knew he was a leader. We just didn't know what he would produce like on the field. And he's had some really good games. He's had some not so great games. But man, oh man, he has been that consistent hammer in the backfield. I don't expect Jamaal Williams to be a top 10 running back in the league. He's playing like close to one right now. And I'll give kind of the reason why I feel that might be. But let's go ahead and we'll start with this game, and then we'll go back and kind of look at what he's done through the season, just to give him some props here on the show. Jamaal, we love you, man. We're thankful you're on this team. So with him, what you look at is this grade. First, Swifty outgraded him, which is funny because he played a ridiculously good game. But he got 22 carries. He made it to 144 yards. A big chunk of that came on one run, but he still ran the ball well. It felt like he was getting 5 or 6 yards every time he touched the ball. You could count on him to get some scores. And of course, he got a touchdown. But let's look at him for the year. Right now, as it sits, he's got a run grade that has been okay for most of the year, but averages out to be a 73.7, which is absolutely more than acceptable. But let's look at the stats. 993 yards. Ladies and gentlemen, he's 7 yards away from being a 1,000-yard rusher. If you have been a Lions fan, you need to understand that since Barry Sanders, that doesn't happen very often. 1,000-yard rushers are few and far between. There has been large gaps where we needed to rely on Reggie Bush to get us to 1,000 yards or something like that. Please. All right. So, and it wasn't during his prime. But anyways, he's fine. Touchdowns, 15. That might lead the NFL right now. So 15 touchdowns. He has been one of these guys that you can rely on. He's been reliable. Can we all at least admit that? He's been reliable on the goal line. He, for the most part, doesn't fumble. He has had a couple fumbles this year. Up until then, he didn't. But he's having by far the best year of his career. And let me just say, that's a pattern that I love. Usually players come to the Lions in hopes that they will build on what they did with their previous team, and it goes the exact opposite way. Isn't it nice to see players that are excelling with the Detroit Lions rather than floundering with the Detroit Lions? It's really nice to see guys like Jamaal Williams. As of late, guys like DJ Chark. All right. And I'm not saying he's better than he was in Jacksonville. Injuries have something to do with that. But when you see these guys, Alex Anzalone, when you see these guys that come in from a modest role on their previous team and they get a bigger role here and they thrive in it. That's really great to see. It's not often that we've seen that with the Lions. Bugs, are you kidding me right now? Like, nobody thought he was going to be as good as he is. Mike Hughes is starting to excel at the cornerback position. We have guys that are playing better when you combine it with the rookies, and that is attributed to good coaching. It is attributed to a GM that understands what we want to do with our players, and he gets the right players in here to do that. Jamaal Williams is just kind of the prime candidate for it. And I haven't even said one that we all know you'd fill the comments with. Jared Goff. He is better by far right now than he was his last 2 years in LA. And I would make the argument that he's better right now than he was when he made the Pro Bowl in LA, especially the last 8 games. You got to give it to him. 8 or 9 games. You got to give it to him. 7-2. He's been phenomenal. He hasn't had a turnover since he played the Packers. He's been really good. But again, this is the Jamaal Williams getting love video. So I am thankful for him. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't think he's still going to demand a huge contract. And I don't think he should get a huge contract in free agency because I think a lot of it is a product of what we have, the offensive line. He is a guy that's going to get what the defense gives him and what the offensive line allows him to do. He's not going to make a ton of people miss. He makes enough people miss. He's not going to run over everybody, but he'll run over quite a few, right? But we talk about system quarterbacks. He's a system running back. And we have found a good system for him with our offensive line. He's not a guy that's going to go to a team with a bad offensive line and rush for 1,000 yards. It's not who he is. But he is a guy that can go to a team like the Lions and do it. 1,000 yards and a lot of touchdowns. And some of it's like, okay, that's crazy how many he's had based on, but hey, he keeps doing it week in, week out. We're 16 games in. He's got a touchdown on average almost every single game. So I just want to give some shout outs to Jamaal. And I think also when we look at the way he plays, it's just exactly what this team needs. Hard nose, grit. I'm going to give it my all, every run, every play, every game. I'm just going to keep going out there. I'm going to go hard. And I don't care if I'm not the fastest. I don't care if I'm not the strongest. I don't care if I'm not the most fleet of foot. I'm going to give it my all. And when it is all said and done, you really do have to look at it outside of a man named Barry Sanders. And you're going to start realizing the numbers dictate what is one of the best rushing seasons in Detroit Lions history outside of Barry. It is. I would make a very firm argument that this has been the best rushing season we've had since Barry left. And you can argue with me all you want. We've had a couple of other guys go over 1,000. But when you take the touchdowns, you take the yardage and the consistency in which he's done it with, is it? I think it might be. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It is an exciting time to be a Lions fan, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get the Packers Sunday night. See you on the next one.